Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is SC Ayala, and we are back with SC Ayala Talk, and we are going over my book, Lovesick Pages of Poetic Heart, by yours truly. Tonight, we'll be reading from page 159. So if you haven't gotten the book, it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, pretty much anywhere online. You can find the book. Again, the book is entitled Lovesick Pages of a Poetic Heart by SC Ayala. And without further ado, we are going to be reading from 159. Again, that's page 159. And it is called Magnificent. So, here we go. His name is Magnificent. My life is magnificent when you're with me. I've grown to see the beauty in a rainy day as every drop falls. I discover new days of love. God has granted me a new opportunity with a chance to breathe in all his glories. Ocean, land, even the air feels brand new to me. All this I owe to you, the magnificent renewal of me because of those feelings caused by you. This magnificent way of being is because of your magnificently renewing love. Magnificent. So, that was Magnificent. 159. So, backstory. All right, so we've been hearing for the last few episodes all the, I don't want to call it animosity, but the bitter feelings and maybe even some of the anger, frustration, whatnot, the separation, the divorce, whatnot. And then there's the in-between time, and we've gone over those. And now you're getting to that, I'm in a new relationship. Clearly, this is how you might feel about someone who's come into your life. And I will say this, not all men come to take. Some men, and I say this, come to restore. You know, as a believer, you know, we've been taught different stories, and there are stories that talk about Boaz, the Redeemer, and, you know, there's all kinds of things that you can take from that story. You know, Naomi, Ruth, you know, and how women can be restored by a man. Or vice versa, you know. Not everyone comes to take from you. And I think a lot of times after bitter divorces and breakups and, you know, even loss, you know, meaning death, you know, you tend to put up your guard because you don't want to feel that vulnerable again. And you don't want to have that feeling of emptiness should it not work out and having to start over. And God, there's so many reasons why I shouldn't do this. But I know people who have been restored by that significant other who came into their life maybe years later, after the children have grown up and gone away, maybe a second chance. You know, maybe they dated before, maybe they met in high school, maybe they rekindled something, you know, 20, 30 years later. Maybe you've known someone 30 years ago, and you happen to catch up with them. You know, social media is a gift and a curse. I say that, you know, being on both, you know, spectrums of it. You run into all kinds of people online. You know, some you want to rekindle the friendships, like, hey girl, what's going on? Let's catch up, have drinks, you know. And then there's others that you say, hey, yeah, delete. And it's really that easy. You know, block, you know, and for good reason, because maybe the past hasn't quite healed, or maybe you're just still leery about that person. Red flag, just don't even mess with it. You know, I don't care how 90s fine he might have been. Just, you don't do it, okay? Let the past be the past, if that's where it's meant to be. But then there are those, and I have a friend, you know, a colleague at work who, you know, was married, got divorced, and was on, you know, one of these social media sites, and knew someone back in high school and rekindled that flame. And now they're, you know, they're dating and all is well. And, you know, they're both very happy. maybe the happiest they've ever been, for giving themselves that opportunity at a second chance. We never know when love is going to hit or when love is going to be, as the poem said, magnificent. Or when someone's going to make you feel magnificent. But if he makes you feel like that, and that's how you see him, like he's just magnificent, OMG. Or she makes you feel that way, and you're like, wow, I wonder what she's doing right now. I should send her flowers. I should just go ahead and send flowers to her job, or, surprise her and, tell her, hey, I left you something, and, it might be a simple thing as a card, on the door or in the mail, or, maybe you guys are long distance relationships, It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be right next to you all the time, or that you have to be up underneath the person. I know a lot of times people think, being in a new relationship means you have to be with that person 24 hours a day. That's not it. It means the relationship is healthy and there's trust, and you both are putting in the work to a healthy, strong, trusting relationship. And it doesn't matter whether you live 5 minutes from the person or 500 miles from the person. The fact is, you are able to say, that's my person, and I trust them. And when we're together, it's magnificent. And that's basically the backstory of that. Again, got to see something that I hadn't seen, and at the time, that was what I needed. And the universe always knows the right timing, the right place, and how it works. And all I can say is, sometimes we just need that. We need that to happen so that we remember what it's like to, maybe be treated kindly, maybe to be admired, maybe to just be adorned, maybe just to have someone say, wow, you look really beautiful tonight. And, oh, wow, your perfume smells so good. And just wine and dine you. I mean, people talk about, chivalry is out, and so is decorum, and, all kinds of other old-fashioned ways, But the truth is, there's nothing wrong with opening her car door. There's nothing wrong with holding the door open, walking into a restaurant. I don't know where or when these things fell out of play. And now it's just, I think Steve Harvey said it best. You never want to be a chirp girl, someone who chirps and you just hop right in and out, And I know not every time, you want to have him, you don't want to be waiting for the door or whatnot. But, I have friends that will be the first ones to be like, look, I'm not getting in the car until he opens the door. And that's fine too. Whatever works for you, just make sure it works for both of you. And if it's something that he does all the time, because I'll be the first one to tell you, my sons always open my door. Even when I tell them, no, it's raining, just go to the other side. My son will always open the door. And it is what it is, And then there's other kids that I know that don't even bother. They won't even take a second look. There's nothing wrong with your man, pumping gas, and there's nothing wrong if you want to pump your own gas. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, do what works for you. I say it all the time. Do what works for you. But when something is magnificent, just enjoy it. Just receive it. Just let it be. And if it ends in happily ever after a second chance, after 30 years, after 30 seconds, so be it. Just let it be magnificent. This is SC Ayala. Until next time, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.